Greetings and welcome to FactionMasters Season 6, Game 18, featuring the Chosen Grove, played by Shoots, and the Deepwood Groaks, played by Vexer. And as a special commentary on this one, we've got both players with us for commentary. Welcome, Shoots, and welcome, Vexer.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to be here as well.
All right, now Vexer, let me start with you. You had the choice between Deepwood Groaks and Filth, and to the surprise of at least myself, but probably not only myself, you chose Deepwood Groaks. So what was the reasoning behind that choice?
Even it surprised me a bit at first because I thought I was just gonna play Filth for the rest of the tournament. But then when I saw the matchup against the Grove, I thought about it for a moment, and then all the few weaknesses that the Filth has, the Chosen Grove perfectly fits into those, right? Like some of them are being able to shove or pull units with the Seed Bearer or the Guard. Like they have 5 of those units. It allows you to take those units outside of the 3 range of Dema so that you negate the boost. Also, the Filth is, I see it's a very aggressive assassination faction that has so many ways, like the toolbox to pretty much finish off the summoner, even if they're trying to hide. But that doesn't really work out well when you have 20 life on the summoner, right? It's very hard to try to do that when they have so much life available and so many defensive features. So to be able to do that, the Filth, they're sacrificing some of the economic game, right? Every mutant, you have to pay with an extra card for it. So you can run out of gas really fast. But you don't care because you're going to assassinate them before that happens. But against the Chosen Grove, like, it's hard to assassinate it. So then I was worried. I was it was really a bad matchup for the Filth just because they're so a little bit like too overpowered. It still has a chance. It's not like it's a unwinnable one. But I thought like Shoots has mastered this faction. Like his rating on this one was super high. I think he's been playing it since it came out. So I was sure like he has mastered the optimal way of playing it. So the odds are probably not going to be in my favor if I choose the Filth because the matchup is going to be a bad matchup for the Filth. And he has probably played that matchup a ton of times because both of them came out at the same time. So when you were playing them, you got matchup with that one multiple times. So then I thought about the Groaks. Well, the Groaks, they take advantage of most of the weaknesses of the Chosen Grove. Like they're really good there. Like the Seers are ideal because it's hard for them to even retreat. Like they are kind of stuck in the middle of the board. So that's perfect for that. Then you get they have a very low output of damage. So the Warden is perfect for that because it's going to be really hard for them to finish it off. That means that it allows you to accumulate boosts and then have the opportunity to retrieve them. So that is also excellent for that. And well, you get the Warrior, which is it's not particularly good against the Grove, but it's you have the tools to throw a lot of dice with Heka and the Warrior. So if you bring down their units, it's hard for them to keep up. If you're killing them faster than they can like keep paying for them and they have to start discarding stuff, the economic battle is going to be going your way, especially with the Groaks, which they want time, right? Like they want things to pretty slow down as much as possible to accumulate boost. You know that's going to happen with the Grove. Like they won't be able to come at you. That's your main concern as the Groaks. Like, hey, they're going to rush me. I won't have time to really abuse all of these boost interactions. That's not a problem with the Grove. Like they won't be able to do that until the end of the game. So it just felt like the ideal matchup there. Like it was gonna be, instead of being slightly in my a disadvantageous matchup for me, it was gonna be like a slightly advantageous to highly advantageous depending on the circumstances of like the draws and how everything played out. So that was the reason why I went with them after thinking about it for a moment and thinking about the matchups.
All right, thanks. And Shoots, how do you defend against the Groaks then? What's your strategy coming in?
Yes, I played the Groaks twice before this game, and I rewatched my game against Massimo, seemed like that would be a good reference point. And I relied a lot on Adric that game, and just got a lot of value out of him. I had my eye on getting Adric in the early to mid game if I draw him and the board state is right. And then, of course, Night of Seasons as important as always. The Seers are, of course, kind of a nightmare to play around. But with strong champs and then Nimid having a ton of health, that can help counter the Seers. Otherwise, I just gotta look for good trades, and just kind of follow my normal game plan with my commons, except for Stag Rider. I actually think of Stag Rider and Seer have a lot of similarities, but Stag Rider is just the more fun designed unit. That Stag Rider has to come out and actually spend a boost, whereas Seer can just hide and doesn't lose boosts. So yeah, Seer kind of trumps Stag Rider, but because of the recent nerf to Deepwood Groaks, I can plan around it. So like if there's no Seer on the battlefield, he can't just plop a Seer down and immediately have 5 boosts. He's limited to the 2 or 3 the first round. So they're not unplayable, but I can't get as much use out of them as a normal game, most likely.
Okay, yeah, we do have two growth factions that have some different ways of gaining boosts and distributing boosts. So let's get this started here, and I'll just pause once in a while. We can discuss things, but let's
What
see
if
how we get started.
what if you do like one by one on the? I can be just talking about the turn while you just like slowly do the one by one.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so this kind of sets the tone a bit of the game. So the starting setup right now of the Groaks is it's a big mess. It's one of those things that hopefully they also make part of the errata to adjust them. That Mystic there makes no sense at all, right? So I was really worried about picking the Groaks, in which whoever went first, it was going to be a big advantage there, because this was going to be an attrition matchup, right? Like a really long game. I got lucky starting, but then the hand is not ideal, as you can see. Kalik is the only champ that I consider playable in this matchup. Having it in your initial hand makes it really unlikely that you'll be able to play it. The key for this matchup for me was getting an early Seer boosted back there. So I was hoping to see a Seer on my first 10 cards. And then, I can't really discard that much on this one, right? I can just cannot simply drop. I have Wardens, so I'm going to try to make the most out of Hecatia, which was part of the plan, really getting as many dice with her before you get to the point in which I have to hide her. The Wardens give me a better chance of doing that. So you can start advancing here. So I need to start getting these units out of my hand. That Strong Potion is not something you want to see early because you don't have the boost yet. But I have the other units. So I have to start trying to get them out of my hand without discarding too many of them. So here, this doesn't really help that out that much, but then I got a good roll with the Seed Bearer, which is huge, denying them that initial boost engine. And here I was thinking, if he doesn't have the other Seed Bearer in hand, he's going to have a really hard start.
I like your positioning with the Wardens protecting the units on the inside. Going to make him hard to hit back.
That Mystic there, really making it hard for him to kill it unless he goes for a 2/2 or gets a stag outside, which is something in this matchup that they don't really want to do too much. So I was hoping that he would play multiple so that it's harder for him to play all the other commons and then have the magic for something more like Adric or at the end of the night, without having to sacrifice many discards. So you can
and we gave up on Kalik.
Yeah, there was no way I could hold him because I need to get to the Seer. So I know I'm going to start playing all my commons, but the champ definitely went down.
Okay, Shoots, maybe you can talk us through this one.
Yeah, so like Vexer was saying, I really wanted to go first, especially with it being a boost faction versus a boost faction. But this is kind of countered by my amazing opening hand.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the guard, the seed bear, and the spring, and a sapling to combo with the spring, and then the 5th card was a stag rider, which is good to discard for some early magic. So I just have a ton of options right now between bouncing units with the guards and pulling a unit with the seed bear. And like I wanted to kill the mystic, but I decided the best play is to get 7 dice on the warden, and it will give him 0 boost as long as I hit 5 out of 7.
Mm-hmm.
Playing frog pinball
It doesn't
here.
generate any boost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Seed Bear doesn't get to attack, but it's more important to just secure the kill. So
Yeah.
goes as planned.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was
good
a
start.
good conservative play, but as you can see here, like spending the 3 attacks for the Warden is perfect for me, right? Like this is where I want to be. Either him having to risk the 1-2 on the with the Seed Bearer to the Mystic, or spending his whole turn just to get rid of one of the Wardens and deny me that boost. But as long as I keep attacking with Hekatia, like if I get just some 3-4s, 4-4s, it's easy to make the economic game hard for them if those guards are going down with 2 attacks. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. All right, so we can keep going. Just trying to get another Warden outside there. Try to get some boost with them. Just cycle my hand in here. Try to make sure that that guard goes down. And then, well, with those 2 attacks, and then hoping to get an attack on the sapling if I get the 5. But and it happened, so I was in a similar position in which, even though I was throwing like a lot of dice there, I spent the 3 attacks to just get rid of the 2-5. So
Now, Vexer, are you thinking that you want to put chip damage on Nibbit from time to time, or are you just going to mostly ignore Nibbit and try to wage economic warfare while you build up your boost?
oh, I definitely want to get some. It's very important to get some damage on Nimid, but I did have this. I wanted the guards. I had them as priority targets, and the seed bearers. And but whenever I had a chance, yeah, that was my goal. In here, I risk the warden. You definitely don't want to lose one of your 2 magic units to uproot. But in here, it seemed pretty low risk because it didn't have a boost on Nimid. The seed bearer didn't have a boost, so there was a little risk of getting it pulled for an uproot because he already played one of the springs. So that's why I went with this play of risking that warden there. And then it's also harder for him to punish Hekatia, right? Like I have 2 out of the 3 spots in which he can attack, cover there. So we can keep it going.
Okay.
Yeah, so on my turn I do have a summer, so I'd really like to make the best use out of that and clear the Mystic and the Warden. But unfortunately, because Nimid and the guard, neither of them has a boost, I can only get up to 6 dice on the Warden. And then I also decide to risk attacking Mystic with Seed Bearer to get extra boost instead of attacking with Warden. So I'm trying to get a 2 out of 3 and then a 5 out of 6. And then I also do get a boost on Nimid and Seed Bearer, which are both very useful to have for the future turn. So I do end up missing both attacks, or I don't finish off either kill.
This was a critical whiff. The first one of many we'll see. So I had some poor rolls before, but this one was much more significant. So I was hoping to capitalize on this. Like if I manage to get some good rolls here, it really drives you back into having to start discarding more heavily, which was my goal, for you to not be able to play all of your commons while I'm able to play them and have to sacrifice some good cards just to get the knight in the end. That was kind of what I was hoping for.
Yeah, if I can just chime in quickly, the one thing I did correctly is I did order my attacks, so guard pushed the warden out of the range of Mystic, so even though I whipped, he got 2 boosts off of warden instead of 3.
Okay. Every little boost helps. Those little
Exactly.
plays can add up.
So in here, moving her forward to open the summoning spot and be in range of pulling those 2 boosts, hoping again for a like 2 attack kill on that one, another like 2/4. So was after that 2/4, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play the strong potion. Like I need to try to get not only a single guard kill with 3 attacks. So going here for the 3/3.
Got it? Yeah.
Got it
A
in this
strong
instance,
potion.
and then to be able to try to get the 3/4 here. So I got the rolls for this turn after his bad turn. This is when I thought like, yeah, this is the way I want things to go. But these are long games. That's the thing to keep in mind against the Chosen Grove. So just how this happening here, the tables can turn at any moment. So that I knew that I didn't really want to get too overconfident at this point. So still, as you can see, not discarding the commons. I know there's going to be a time for them. And these wardens have allowed me to use Hekatia. So as long as I can keep using her, I'm going to be throwing more than enough dice.
Okay. Well, the nice thing about having zero magic commons is even when you're low, you can put them on the board. Put something on the board.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this turn had a nice range of comments to choose from. I also had Bear's turn, which I believe I discarded at the end of the turn. And really I just focused down the 2 low health units and then get some chip damage on Warden.
Yeah. And then this is the point when pretty quickly the table of the critical whiffs turned. So this is my first good opportunity, my first real opportunity of getting some dice on Nimid, right? So I wanted to guarantee that sapling kill. Instead of playing another Warden, I went with a Warrior to get the 4 out of 3 there. And then I was like, oh my, come on. And now, of course, after this, after that happens, like, let's see how Hekatia rolls. Like, she's been only rolling like 1/4s, 2/4s, 2/4s. And of course, he goes with a 4/4 when it's completely unnecessary.
Just what you needed, and it's worth thinking about. Sometimes we look at some post-game dice analysis and how many hits did you get out of how many rolls, but that was a case where you think, oh, you got about as many hits as expected, but it was totally in the wrong order to be helpful.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was in this type of matchups, I knew like, oh, you know what, maybe that was the game. Like that difference of getting those big hits on Nimid. Like if I had that for, and actually if it was on Nimid, I would have used the boost on the strong to throw even more dice, right? So if you get one of those big hits on Nimid, it makes a massive difference at the end of the game.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on with turn 8.
Yeah, so here really my 2 choices were I could either focus down the Warden and just get some chip damage on Warrior, or I could spend some more resources and eliminate them both. I decided to go and eliminate them both because if I just get some chip damage on the Warrior, it comes back forward and kills my guard, whereas now he's going to have to spend magic to summon a new unit to get rid of the guard. Yeah, summon the 2 Seed Bearers, play a Spring, got a lot of boosts out of that, and then double pull the Warrior to uproot.
Yeah, really value Spring here. 2 value Springs in the first half of the game, and your deck tempo is a bit ahead of Vexer's, which is maybe what we would want to see with Chosen Grove.
Yeah, it is good to, keep up the deck tempo, and there's a lot of cards you can't discard as the Grove, like Uproot, Guide to Seasons, and matchups like this, Adric. So it is good when you can find, uses for Uproot, and again, keep the deck flowing. One mistake here is I did decide to move the sapling out to the side to free up a summoning spot by Nimid, and I was thinking he would or be focusing on the seed bearer and guard this turn, so I wasn't a. I decided to like risk exposing the sapling. We'll see, that was the wrong decision.
Okay. I notice
Yeah, and
also
there,
you. Yeah, you use the seed bearer and guard attack rather than guard push to Nimid just to get one more boost, even though it was slightly risky in terms of the possibility to whiff and fail to kill that Mind Warden. But got it done.
This time, the boosted seed bearer is safe behind Nimid.
Yeah.
Well, he had the third attack available in case that that whiffed, because he used up root for the
right.
For the
so
warrior.
he had a third attack anyways.
Yeah,
Okay.
No. Yeah, just in case. So that was like a safe.
No
so
risk.
the game.
Yeah.
I think the game balanced out again. Like it leaned my way when he got the whiff. Then when I got the whiff after this big play, I think it went back into an even situation. Then you can keep going in here.
Sure.
That sapling there was a good opportunity to use my Mystic. And then if I get the 3 out of 4, it's in a relatively kind of not bad position. I mean, those stack riders can always come out, but then there's always the cost of getting them into play. In here, wanted to make sure I get the seed bearer. Those are like critical targets, so I went for the boost. I used one of my boosts.
And you needed
then
it.
Here also boost to have decent odds, so I get this one. And then the most important attack, the one on Nimid. Well, I guess the seed bearer was probably the most important. The second most important on Nimid there. Only get 2 out of 4, but at least I start chipping at her a little bit.
Yeah, and the strong potion gave you a damage. I like to look at the dice in order. I don't know if the game actually does it that way, but I like to look at the last die rolled and say that was the one from the strong potion. And I also noticed that you are using the Mystics to refill on Hekatia rather than the potion, letting the potion expire because you've got another one coming anyways.
Exactly. I wanted to get rid of that one because I'm still desperate with my hand. Like the seer, as you've noticed, like no seer.
Where are they?
We're already like
They're hiding.
Getting to the turn and no seers, so I'm getting a little bit anxious about it. I also don't have my first gate, which is something you really want on this matchup, to get a third row gate and be able to get the multiple flanks on the units.
Yeah.
So I've been having to kind of like be struggling a bit to get the 3 attacks out of the single angles that I have without the seer acting as my backup or without a side gate. So that's why I really need to get my deck flowing.
Yeah, because he was able to focus on that sapling I had moved out to the side instead of the guard. The Mystic is out of reach unless I would have a Stag Rider, which I don't. So really nothing for me to do this turn except kill the Mystic, summon a new guard, and then advance the second one to guarantee the kill.
Mm-hmm.
You're keeping him off
here
Nimid.
I felt things were not happening.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also
but
advance
here,
the seed bearer.
like having his whole turn just be able to only throw dice to kill a single Mystic was like a great turn for me. Gave me the opportunity to try to wipe those 2 guards. Like I thought, if I manage to kill these 2 guards with these 3 attacks, like this game, it's gonna be mine, right? At this point, you can see the difference in cards. So I really wanted to make sure this happened. I threw 5 dice here, got 3. So then on the other one, just to make sure, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use a boost, and I got the 2 out of 4. It was really important. So then I just needed the 4.
Not quite.
I was a little bit short on that one. Oh, did it froze on my end?
Oh, can you not see?
Now it refreshed. It just froze before the last attack.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to pause.
Yeah, we can go back to the beginning of turn 12 if that helps. All right.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to, again, eliminate the warrior and the mystic, and I do have a summer in hand, so I'll just play the summer to give myself good odds to eliminate both. I'll advance the guard to make it harder to attack Nimid, and with only 1 health, if he absorbs the 4 attack from Hakatia, that's a good use of his last health. And also, because he's advanced far enough, he can't kill the guard and then attack Nimid with Hakatia. She'd be too far away.
It's nice to get those springs and summers out right away, but you are, moving through your deck at a pretty good pace too, so that also helps find the cards you're looking for. You find all the cards when you build Magic fast enough.
Yeah, and here I actually felt good that those summers were out, those springs were out. It made it easier to anticipate what to expect. But the thing is, I was running out of time before I could actually, before he could start moving, right? And I hadn't even gotten a seer out there. Finally, I dropped the other champ and drew the first seer and the first gate. But now he had 7 magic. So at this point, I have to start considering that the knight can always come out, and I just at least don't want it to be hitting Hekatia for 5 or 6 the turn it comes out, to be able to use her a bit more. So in here, I didn't really want to give him targets after I made the attack. I thought, I could technically use the Mystic to try to go for the Seed Bearer, but that wasn't it's like a 58% chance of getting the 3/4 or something like that. I thought, you know what? In here, he doesn't really have great targets, so he'll either have to summon something new or start taking inactivity damage, or play a stag, which then I can target with my seer. So I was willing to take the first 3 on Hekatia, considering she was at full life, and that was the only option. No magic, he wouldn't get any magic. That's why I placed at this point, because he's pretty close and has the magic for a knight. I didn't want to play the 3rd row gate, as he could simply play the knight and then blow up the gate in a single attack and then just retreat to the knight or do that type of play. So I thought, I'm going to get a seer, and then the only way he can get some damage on me is with a stag, and then I get a shot at the stag. So I'm good with that.
Well, here is the stag.
Yeah, so like Vexer said, my only decent option is to play the Stag Rider. Now when I backtrack, I will still be in Seer's range, but for Seer to get in range,
has to move up and be, yeah,
and be exposed. But he could put, something. I was expecting more a Warden or something to protect Seer, but if he goes that route, then I can blow up the Warden with Knight, assuming I have it, which I don't. But I'm hoping to draw into Knight really soon since I got the magic. So I wasn't expecting this gate formation.
Now this formation right here is why people hate the Deepwood Groaks, because you can do this. But the answer, of course, is to attack the gates with champions, I think.
Yeah. My options there, I could move Hekatia to attack Nimid with Hekatia, but he had 6 magic, almost no cards left on the deck. I was just assuming the knight was very likely. I didn't want to have Hekatia take 5 or 6 melee. So I thought hey, I'm just gonna put the gate, and if he sends the knight out to attack a gate, that's perfect for me. It wouldn't really be a good play for him to burn the knight to try to get that main gate. So yeah, and then I thought hey, should I use the boost for this? And I'm running out of boost. These are my last strong boosts, so I want to use them for the knight. I know that I'll have to deal with the knight, or probably not for Nimid because she has too much life. But the knight, if I bring him down fast, it won't really decide the game. So My odds were already 70%, so I already have good odds. I thought like, hey, it's unnecessary to try to bring those odds into the 90%. So I'll just go for it, and it didn't happen. I thought even if it doesn't happen, it's going to be hard for him to use that stack rider in the future. So it's not the end of the world. So I just went for it, and the seer just totally missed that one. But the key here was that I didn't want to give him targets. I thought like, well, he's gonna have to move, and then I thought like, well, I mean, he can also do inactivity damage. He has a lot of life, right? Because I didn't manage to bring him down into the like similar range as Hekatia. He could really play the waiting game for a long time. This was a bit concerning to me because he could technically take a lot of inactivity damage, and it's hard for the Groaks in here to do something like send a warrior to attack Nimid, right? And then like it just completely gets destroyed easily by them, and you dealt 2 or 3 damage. Like you're gonna lose any economic advantage in here, which I still have a little bit of economic advantage, but the fact that he has 18 life there is not as much as you think it is, because that's a massive resource there that I didn't manage really to get big hits on.
Yes, I'm sure Shoots can attest that 1 activity damage on Nivid is not very much. From 17 to 18, it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt that bad.
Yeah.
Even building
And if you
magic
wanna pause the
again,
game
sure.
briefly. So really my options were either like play Adric or just retreat and take inactivity damage. I still have not drawn Knight, and also using Knight the turn I summon it to just destroy a gate doesn't feel great. Really want to take a higher priority target. And if I play Adric here and like just shoot the gate, he's just really exposed right now. Like if he goes on Nimid's side, he's out of range, and if he sits the row in front of Nimid, he can easily go down in 1 turn and not even get to like use the boost on him. So then I have to consider, well, to retreat away from Seer, I have to leave Nimid exposed on all 3 sides. So with 5 magic and Hekatia and Seer out of range, he'd have to summon 2 warriors and a mystic or something along those lines. And that's like 12 dice. And I've got Uproot, I've got Autumn, so I feel even if he does go that route, I can counterattack and probably get so much economic advantage from that play that I'll be in an okay position and can really protect Nimid from any follow-up attacks.
Okay, yeah, I think it was good. Even built 1 more magic, get you up to 7, and only 2 cards away from Nimid being unleashed. So let's go ahead to turn 17 and see how Vexer responded.
So in here, this was a really tough decision. Like I knew I couldn't really just start taking inactivity. Like I would lose that inactivity battle. So I thought like, hey, I don't have that much boost for both Swift Potions. I'm just gonna burn the first one just for like a small gain. I know there's another one coming. So just went for this attack and then getting it outside of the range to put some pressure. Then yeah, this was a critical, the one of those critical whiffs. That really hurt, especially when that was your only attack on the turn, and then burned one of those boosts to bring it back so that it cannot be counterattacked by the sapling, and then the burden of action is back on him, and I just used the rest of the boost just to fill the seer back up. And thinking that, well, he has the Knight, the other Uproot, and some of the other commons which have to move. Like they're... like I want him to come forward so that the Seer can be active. But I was really surprised what he did next turn. Like when I saw that card, I was like, what is going on at this point when he's almost out of a deck?
Yeah, so this was a hard decision as well. Often like these few turns when you're almost out of your deck and you can almost move Nimid can be the most awkward ones to navigate as the Chosen Grove. Because you can't just afford to discard a bunch of cards so Nimid can move. Like 5 cards isn't enough to take on the rest of Vexer's deck. It's like I don't want to spend so much magic that I can't summon the knight later on in the game. But after reviewing the situation, I felt I would be able to get enough magic to get knight eventually. And I was going to play Autumn anyways, so I can use Adric here and then retreat him to safety and just reset my formation. And then hopefully take out the Mystic, which, as we see, doesn't happen this turn.
Okay, no hits there.
Yeah, at least it was on a gate, but then this was interesting. Wait, did the roll on the Mystic already happen?
I think, yeah, I think when I pressed pause, it skipped the animation.
Oh yeah.
I'll just start again.
Yeah,
from the
this
beginning.
was.
I did see the Mystic's health go from 2 down to 1.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, and this one was after like my roll. That roll, I was like, well, that's a dice justice for you. Like the horrible whiffs just kept ping ponging one from one to the other. So, and the funny thing is that in the end we'll talk about that whiff on the gate. So. Okay, so the autumn, I was like, okay, so looks like he didn't discard both of them. Now I wasn't expecting him to have any other events, and just try to get the ones from the night. At this point, I was like, hey, this is a great opportunity to try to deny him the night, so that it's hard for him to get to 6 without having to sacrifice his last set of commons. I was anticipating the last Seed Bearer, the last guard, or in his hand at least the uproot. So I thought about this play. Like at first I thought about attacking with a Mystic, but it was like, hey, it's not an attack on a sapling, which then is gonna give him 1 magic and kill that Mystic. It's really not worth it. Like I would rather, let's try to make it as hard as possible for him to get to 6 magic. So you can keep going. You can. So I just went with a conservative play here of sending them back. Tried to use the seer. At this point I had the seers, but I didn't have the boost this late in the game. I had to use them. I ended up using them in the potions in different ways, and it was too late to try to get like 5 boosts on a seer in this situation. So this seers, the blind seers, not getting any hits, but consuming the Adric. Adric, I don't think it's that good in this match.
Adric from downtown.
Because the seers are able to. Yeah, they can take some of those pings, and then Adric runs out of boost pretty quickly. Yeah. It's hard to sustain him at a high amount, and especially when you have 2 seers, you can balance like that damage between them to bring them to 1 life. And even then, at 1 life, it's usually hard to keep every single unit always within the range of Adric. So I wasn't that concerned about Adric, but this point I wanted him to have to move forward. But my concern was that Nimid just had a lot of life, so it was going to be a massive threat.
Yeah, Adric has got to be the best archer in the game when you consider this ability is counter shot. So it means that this blind seer from behind the gate can reach out with magic and slap this sapling. Adric notices it, somehow shoots over these gates, gets him for 1 damage. Very impressive marksmanship. They don't teach that in the Vanguard archery school. That's the kind of thing you can only learn at the Grove.
Exactly.
All right, so Shoots, it looks like you're ready to take Nimbit on the road.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I'm going to get the magic to summon Knight, is advance Nimid, change that health into some magic, and then I'll advance the saplings, protect from counterattacks.
Yeah, so those saplings did their job of buying you time. That safe turn. In there, I had to try to get rid of them. Like, there was not much I could do aside from that. In here, I thought, I want to get to I need to start farming boosts, so I'll just bring out the Seer 2 to guarantee that I get both kills. I thought you were gonna go, like, try to kill the warrior. I can't, like, you can keep going, you can keep playing. I put the seer on the right side to thinking like, hey, if he sends Nimid for that seer, that's actually fine for me. Like, I wanted to act a bit as a distraction maybe. And if he sends Nimid that way, then like I didn't thought you would do it because then the warrior, it was very likely it would survive, and I thought you were gonna prioritize it. So I just brought it down to make sure I got like a backup shooter for both of those, right? Because I needed a 3-3 and a 2-2. So by getting the seer out, it gives me the flexibility of having a backup attacker. This time it wasn't needed, but at least now you either needed to start bringing the range units, which they were not going to be able to fully protect Nimid, or start playing more units from your hand, which meant that you wouldn't be able to play the knight. Like, it was going to be harder. So that was my attempt right now. Try to make it hard for you to reach that. And if you move the other commons, at least have them be within range that the seer is relevant. So in here, this was in here, like what it was good when you went for the other one. The 3-3, it's harder, so I have a shot of that one surviving, which it does.
Yeah, so I was both between going one way versus the other. I did decide to advance Nimid towards the Seer, and if I get lucky, Stag Rider takes down the Warrior. Otherwise, I'll just get some tip damage for another unit to finish it off later. And then Adric, I want to take down the gate to get the magic, and then since Stag Rider is attacking a unit, Stag Rider can advance up and fill in the spot where the gate is to protect Nimid's side. With your Seers, and I feel Stag Rider is not going to live much longer anyways, because if it retreats to Nimid, of course it's on the front lines now. And I just felt Nimid was a bit more protected with the gate on one side, but looking back on it, I could have gone either way, and I mean, maybe taking out the warrior would have been a little better, but I don't feel like it made a huge difference, regardless of which way.
17 is still a lot, Nib. It's almost saying, I dare you, come get me.
Yeah, in here, when he didn't destroy the gate, I was like, oh, come on, I needed you to destroy that gate to be able to get Hekatia out. Because I knew at this point I was in an all-in mode. I was making like the calculations with the magic, and I wasn't gonna be able to win the like economic game with this high-cost units, in which one of them was gonna be destroyed via uproot. And that's why I was also sending the seers to Nimid, so to try to force you to burn the uproot on one of them instead of the warrior or the warden. So I knew the economic game was not in my favor anymore. I had been building this bounty of economic magic and cards, so I knew I would have to burn through it to try to kill Nimid before the night came out. So I just went into all-in mode. I was hoping to be able to try to surround Nimid, or try to get Hekatia onto one of those sides. But when the gate wasn't destroyed, I was like, oh, that's exactly the one I wanted. I'll have to either destroy it myself now or start going through the other side. But the fact that the warrior survived gave me the opportunity to at least get 2 attacks on Nimid, and then be able to get 1 unit kill for the magic and get rid of that Stag Rider so that he cannot keep using it. So I felt good in this point. Like, I was just going to go all in, and with just decent dice, I felt I had the chances of bringing her down fast. So let's see. Let's see how that goes.
I feel like a lot of Chosen Grove games do come down to, can you kill Nimid before the Night of Seasons comes out?
Yeah, bring her really below 10 or around 12. That's all you need at that point, so that Nimid cannot be just walking around destroying everything with one attack, right? Like, that was the main issue here. So I didn't give him in here any good target for uproot. The warden, I'm putting it far away from the uproot, just giving me some magic, like 2 attacking here is not that huge on Nimid. So it was the perfect moment to use the last warden and take the last boost out of Adric there. And then just use my boost, my strong in here. So plus trying to get like at least 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 7 would have given me like put me in a good spot. But well, both of them a little bit, not the best rolls, but at least like 5 out of 7.
Not bad.
Not what I want to see after I'm burning my 2 strong boosts, which were important at this point. I was counting the number of turns I was going to be able to sustain this, and that's why like it was really important for me to try to get in there like 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 7. And then as you saw in here, I had to use a lot of my magic, discarded one of those extra cards, and just at least end the turn to be able to do the warrior. I kept Eldarath. Well, actually, no, I didn't really have an option here. Just it's one of my few units left. So let's see what happens.
Okay, and Shoots, what did you make of this situation here? Nimid is surrounded, can't really summon anything in a helpful spot. Do you think you were gonna use an uproot on the Seer, or what was your plan?
Yeah, the thing about using uproot to escape is you can only move 1 space afterwards, and I'm using those gates for protection on 2 sides, so moving 1 spot away from the gates, also hurts me. I guess the other way that moving to the right helped out is that the 10 health gate actually is very relevant here, or I'd be in a lot of trouble. But I'm expecting another warrior to be summoned, and he does have a Swift potion boost, so Nimb is probably going to be surrounded again at the end of Vexer's turn. I'm going to summon my last guard to protect Nimid's flank, and even though Nimid can still be surrounded with the guard there, there won't be any damage. And then, yeah.
Yeah, good positioning.
Maybe I'm talking
Are you
about
thinking about a
turn.
different turn, maybe?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, must have been thinking of a different turn. But with
Okay,
Adric
so
there,
Adric
you're
advances.
blocking this summoning spot.
Yeah, Adric blocks the
Mhm.
gate, so an important spot to block. I do miss the Seer kill, which is unfortunate because now Seer can, block Nimid's back again.
Nimid's down to 12,
make it
starts to
harder to
feel like
retreat.
just a regular summoner, not an invincible 20.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So this gave me the opportunity here. I decided like, well, Hekatia, I just need to start walking her. Use the last boost there to be able to reach her with the Seer. That Seer at this point, like for commons, it wasn't really relevant. Just needed to try to still capture her there and not give her like the opening summoning spots. And this was another 4 or melee. So thinking, well, if I bring her to 8, maybe I'm like 1 big play away. Still not getting all of my melee there, distributing the last Aldrich, so it's just 2, 1 magic. Still thinking of the uproot, like, hey, I want him to spend the uproot to try to escape. I use it for the back unit so that he just retreats. Was really hoping he would use it that way, instead of using it for my last warrior or those, or my champion, right? I didn't want to get the champion in a position in which he could just one-shot the champion. So and then, well, just reclaiming all of those boosts for the Swift Potion.
Now here's the Emberguard coming out.
And I do know that he has another Swift Potion, so I definitely need to play around his units moving 3 spaces. So yeah, this will protect from like a guard surrounding Nimid. Nimid can still be surrounded, but again, guard is protecting the flank. And I'm able to get a couple kills, so my magic is at 5 after
real
killing
close.
his units, and then I do discard the last Stag Rider, which can be useful for protecting Nimid in the end game. But yeah, I need to get 2/6 magic for the Knights of Seasons.
And to
Did you
block these
consider
gates,
keeping it for
instead of
one more
killing.
turn?
Yeah.
Did you consider staying at 5 for one more turn, or?
I did.
Or were you...
I did
I was
consider staying
hoping.
at 5. But,
Yeah.
yeah, at 9 health, it was just too risky, especially, like, guard is only kind of protecting Nimid's back. Like, you can still surround Nimid and prevent her from escaping. And, like, my only source of Autumn is to summon Knights of Season. So, I did consider it, I weighed the risks, and, yeah, discarded the 6.
So in here, the guard, I was like, hey, perfect. So I have my last mystic. So the guard is not going to be a problem. I can do one big attack so that he's one hit away from dying. I'm going to get 9 dice on her, right? So it's easy. Like I just need to get like 6, which the odds are in my favor for 6, I believe. And then it's just one hit away from getting killed. So it makes it really much harder to keep Nimid safe and even use her at all. Oh, I think it was just 8 because I only have a single boost. So yeah, you can keep going through. So I used the potion. So I'm hoping, hey, I just need to get
Okay,
like
yeah,
6 out of the 8, even 5.
I was doing the math trying to figure out how you got to 9, and I couldn't work it out. But it's
Yeah, because
yeah.
Katya had to attack first. So using the
Yes.
first boost here, and then just Eldorath getting rid of that Seed Bearer, giving me the magic, which I really required for a warrior next turn. So Katya here, just can't really get her to shoot for more than 2, unless it's
Unless it's
for a sapling that is about to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
Eldorath, this is an
wow.
easy one, with a critical whiff. So this was like one of those critical whiff turns for me. Like now it came to me. And well, the Mystic is going to make up for it. No, it's only another 2 out of 4. So now this is a big difference because now it's 2 attacks away from dying. And at this point, I don't think I'm going to be able to get 2 flanks or like a 2 attack turn because of the space here. So at this point, I was already considering this game lost pretty much. At 5 live, I don't have the angles, I don't have the cards. And getting the whiff on the Seed Bearer means that I cannot even play a warrior next turn. So that kind of seals the deal with that 0-3.
Okay, we're going through all the seasons.
And here I'm thinking, it's looking really good, and I feel like the only way I lose is if Knight of Seasons dies in 1 turn, which, with the Swift Potions and the Strong Potion, and of course Mystics refilling, Hakatia and the 2 Mystics will probably kill Seasons in 1 turn unless I kill the Mystic. But yeah, I use the boost on Seed Bearer to get Mystic within Guard's range, and then Seed Bearer is protecting Nimid's back, and with the Summer, Guard can kill Mystic, and the Knights of Seasons will get massive damage on Hikatia, and it's looking really good. So just some chip damage and get a boost on Night Brief and more damage.
Right. Oh, well.
And
you could
Valtheon had a positive game.
Really,
I had to think about.
I was thinking about the order of
that
that
for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I've got 6 attacks. This is a 1 health Mystic, or I can take out about half of Hikatia's health in 1 go. But then on the following turn again, he's got a lot of resources to take out Seasons. But then I'm trying to think several turns in advance and do my leftover cards, are they enough to take out Hikatia? But if Nimid advances to attack Hikatia, it's probably not a 1 kill shot, and then I can die on the counter attack. So I don't know. I thought through a bunch of situations. I'm like, I think I just got to kill.
I think you made the right choice. It feels like a waste, but it's too important to limit your opponent's number of attacks. Although it does make me think that we might not get to see a single uproot played this game.
Well, he already played the first one. at the beginning.
Oh, he did. Okay. Because I guess
on
it's
a
been
warrior
it's been
that
it's
you
been a
double
long
killed, yeah.
it's been a long game. I guess I forgot that already. So just one upright in hand.
So in here, not many options, but with the Mystic that I had been hiding, I had a way of doing a double attack and then hiding it. So I was like, well, at least I have the means of doing 3 attacks on this turn. And then trying to finish off the Seed Bearer there. And
Finally
then
got it.
Hekatia, I was just hoping maybe he gets another whiff and only hits like 4 out of 5 or something like that, 3 out of 5. And that way I have a chance of bringing down the knight and then just hiding her. So just getting at least a decent roll here, 3 out of 4. And then it was just, I had the boost for the Wither, but then I didn't have the time to keep it because I needed that magic for the warrior next turn. So I just was hoping here, well, maybe if he gets like a 3-5 or 4-5, that puts me a couple shots away, but it was a clean 5-5, so I was just like 1 shot away now from getting killed here.
If you want to pause it, I'll talk
But
briefly about
notice
this
something.
game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so after several like hard turns to navigate, this turn was really straightforward. Knight of Seasons advances to attack Hekatia, and then Guard moves over to block Season's flank because he could summon a warrior and like double team Seasons and take it out in a turn. Again, I feel it's like the game is pretty much won at this point. Can't kill the Mystic, but Azure can get some chip damage on Eldorop. But I just had a huge mental break and missed that the gate that I've been, like I've had that gate covered for a long time and had a Seed Bear blocking it. But the Seed Bear died, and I have another Seed Bear in hand. I've got a magic. I even had an extra move. Like, all I needed to do was summon the Seed Bearer and cover the gate, and there's no reason not to. And I just forgot that he could summon there. Like, even looking back, I'm like, I don't know how I missed it. Like, I carefully, and then just had such a lapse. And again, a really important game. It's, you know, you lose once and you go home.
Yeah.
So can't believe it happened, but yeah, there it is. There's an open spot, and again, I know he has 2 magic. It wasn't like I forgot to check if he discarded. So there's the warrior that I was expecting.
That's one of the tough things of the Chosen Grove, that you're always playing that long game, that long defensive game. So it's very easy to make a mistake along the way. And many times the games are so close that that's all it takes between like a win and a lose.
All right. Well, let's watch the dice be thrown. I think most of our viewers have worked out the combo by now.
Yeah, exactly. So in here is there a way of getting like a 5 there? And it's like, well, there is. If I use the last, I was always like to keep that last boost there to be a threat with the Swift. So I can get the Mystic in range to put the boost on it. And then with the final one on this, it's what a twist. We go for the 5-5.
Oh,
not even close.
Not even close. Wow. And not very much damage on that one either. I think everyone on your team is just demoralized, Vexer.
Yeah, and you know, I had to use the 3 moves to even do that place, so I didn't even have the chance of moving Hekatia out of the way so that he couldn't have like 2 attacks on it, right? To even try to make it a survive 1 more turn type of situation. But it was there, right? Like that was my last shot after all those like bad rolls on Nimid, getting that 5-5, but it wasn't even close. So at this point, the game was sealed. Yeah, good game shoots. It was quite quite a journey of a game, and I think about overanalyzing a game.
Knight of Seasons shows how it's done. I'll show you how to roll 5 out of 5. Yeah. I'll do you one better. I'll get 6 of 6. Quite a battle. Yes. Well, thanks to both of you for joining. You got any closing thoughts?
Yes, good game,
I'm not on my
Vexer.
end.
And yeah, escaped with the win there. Needed those whiffs at the end. I'll have to clean it up for my next game.
Yeah, looking forward to checking out your next game. So yeah, great game, and nothing else to add. I think we've talked for long enough on this one, so let's not make it any longer.
Yes. Well, congratulations on making it to the semifinal shoots, and thanks to all of our viewers. If you've and congratulations if you've listened to this far. We will see you next time for more Faction Masters.